time. We are the people. You are enough. What would the world look like if you knew this to be true, not in theory or empty words, but from the depth of our living? Here in this place, consider yourself seen. We gather not to change one another, but to allow ourselves the opportunity to be more fully who we wish to be. Here in this place now, consider yourself seen. What would the world look like if we knew this to be true? Not just in empty words, but in the true depth of our living. Now is the time. We are the people. Each of you is needed, and you are enough. Good morning. My name is Reverend Karen Mooney. I am a cisgendered queer white woman serving as the interim religious education manager. Who knows why that got me this morning? But a lot of things get me. That's one of the things that you will learn about me, is that tears come to me. Who knows why, who knows when. And I hope for you that this is a moment maybe of a little discomfort, and that you will lean into that discomfort and wonder why it is that a sense of vulnerability feels awkward. It is okay. I am okay. My tears are okay. Your tears are okay as well, as is your joy and your bubbling over. My pronouns are she and her, and just in case you didn't know, I'm the wife of Reverend Pam, who is not here with us today and will be gone through Thursday of this week. Our chalice lighting this morning is from the words of Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
Hello, my name is Melanie Turbovic. My pronouns are she and her. Our church shares a covenant that we make with one another, a promise that helps to remind us of why we gather and how we want to be with one another. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in saying our covenant together. We unite to strengthen the bonds of kinship
among all persons, to promote human dignity and to increase reverence for life's creating, sustaining, and transforming power through worship, study, and service.
Please remain standing to sing our opening hymn, number 53, I Walk the Unfrequented Road.
Fruit of no one's soul, trespass
not, you haven't been doing that all the way along. Wonder where I'm going to find a seat, wonder where I'm going to park, all of that. I wonder what you think might be in the box this morning. And I wonder if you're young or young at heart, if you'd like to come up and join me up here. You can sit here or you can sit at the table. Yay, thanks. Because Joy is going to share this story with us. I wonder, what do you think might be in the box today? We're talking a little bit about teaching. Teaching? Look, we have masked people. It's so fabulous. Any of you think you might know what might be in the box? Yeah, what do you think? A question? Yeah? No. What do you think might be in the box? Maybe a note. Yeah, you know what? It's sort of words. It's not exactly a note. Yeah, what do you think? Is it a poem? Oh, I wish I had thought to put it in a poem. It's not a poem. Any other questions? Any other? Yeah. Is it a painting? Is it a pumpkin? There are a lot of pumpkins up here, but there's not a pumpkin in the box. What do you think it is? Whatever, it's whatever. Anyone else want to guess?
A squirrel.
A squirrel. No, the squirrels give me heartache at this time of year. I'm sure they give all of us heartache. Anyone else?
A book.
A book! Who said that? Doreen. Who wants to come open up the box? Come on. Yeah. You were the first courageous one to open your raise your hand. Do you have that on? What is that? Look at this. It is a book. It's a book with all kinds of words in it that you could make a poem out of. I bet you could spell pumpkin. Yeah. So there are 3 different books. One is a dictionary, one is a thesaurus, and one is synonyms and antonyms. All kinds of things to be able to create words. Yeah, words and ways that we learn from one another. So now our friend Joy is going to come forward and tell us a story about somebody who's learning. Sure.
Oh, I dropped the little thing here. Hello? Okay. This is called The Last Stop on Market Street. The words by Matt de la Pena and pictures by Christian Robinson. CJ pushed through the church doors and skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire and old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit, How come we always got to go here after church? CJ said. Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere. I feel sorry for those boys, she told him. They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the sunglass man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs and bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up the seat. How come that man can't see? Boy, what do you know about seeing? Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact. Their noses, too, the man said, sniffing at the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in the back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting right across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plunking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus and out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves. He saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky. He saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows, and boarded-up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled, and she pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by a little dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. He thought his Nana might laugh, her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, me too, CJ. Now, come on.
Okay, now you're going to go to your classes and learn a little bit more. And I'm hopeful that someone here can take, oh, there's Debbie, yay! Take our light back with you. And please join me with singing the children out.
As we approach the time for our offering, give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that has meant so much for those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to people you will never know. We give to remind ourselves that we have many gifts to offer. We give to remind that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music, and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Therefore, as the offering is passed, give generously, as though you were giving to your deepest hopes for this place, our world, and for one another. If you are here this morning for the first time, please let the plate pass you by, because being here is your first great offering.
Into this space created by generosity of music and generosity of being, I offer these words in meditation. From the Zen teacher John Deade Leori, in reality, nothing anyone can give us. There's nothing that we lack. Each one of us is perfect and complete. But this truth must be realized by each one of us. Great faith, great doubt, and great determination are three essentials for that realization. Great faith is the boundless faith in oneself and one's ability to realize oneself and make oneself free. Great doubt is the deep and penetrating doubt that asks, who am I? What is life? What is truth? What is God? What is reality? Great faith and great doubt are in dynamic tension with each other. They work to provide the real cutting edge of koan practice. When great faith and great doubt are also accompanied by great determination, the determination of 7 times knocked, 8 times up, we have at our disposal the power necessary to break through. Would you breathe with me for just a moment? 7 times knocked down, 8 times up. We have at our disposal the power necessary to break through. It is in this time that we give recognition of the joys and concerns within our congregation. If you have anything to share, I ask that you use the form on the website under the Pastoral Care tab so that we can mention what is needed in this service. You can also find those concerns and joys in our weekly e-news. For this service, we continue to remember the suffering, the aftereffects of Hurricane Milton and Helene. Our communities were ripped asunder, and it will take time to find and rebuild homes and rebuild lives. Farther away, we send care and concerns to all those embroiled in the wars being engaged in the Middle East and around our world. I want to thank the families here for their patience as we figure out prayer tables and RE classes. We thank all the people who show up each week to keep this church thriving. The RE teachers and coordinators close to my heart, the senior high youth group who gave out treats to local kids, and then the next day came to host a learning about prisons. The volunteers who share joy throughout this place, and all of you who come, making coffee, moving chairs, picking up garbage that you find, smiling at people that you don't know, singing in the choir, greeting people, all of those things, teaching classes, I don't care what it is. It takes all of us. Thank you. Don't do it high, but if you have given something to this church, raise your hand. Right? It takes all of us in that gentle flow of life to be here. I also want to acknowledge that this sanctuary will be a place of celebration later on this afternoon when Allison's son marries his beloved in our space. Great, great, great welcomes to this new love being acknowledged. Because it's not always celebrations that we bring. Sometimes the remains of other things sit within the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. Know that those too are held and loved. Please remain seated as we sing together, Spirit of Life.
This morning's reading is an excerpt from Teaching Critical Thinking by Bell Hooks. Thinking is an action. For all aspiring intellectuals, Thoughts are the laboratory where one goes to pose questions and find answers, and the place where visions of theory and praxis come together. The heart of critical thinking is the longing to know, to understand how life works. Children are organically predisposed to be critical thinkers. Across the boundaries of race, class, gender, and circumstance, children come into the world of wonder and language consumed with a desire for knowledge. Sometimes they're so eager for knowledge that they become relentless interrogators, demanding to know the who, what, when, where, and why of life. Searching for answers, they learn almost instinctively how to think. This ends the reading.
We were driving in the car to pick up groceries when my 2-year-old friend Jay asked, "Why?" Anybody who's ever been with a 2-year-old knows this question. We've been talking about getting something for dinner, and I was advocating for something healthy. Why? Why do we need to eat healthy? Well, because we want to live longer. Why do we want to live longer? Well, because no one wants to leave the people they love. Well, why do peas have to be healthy? Well, because certain foods hold more of the sun and the air and beauty of the earth. I don't see any sun and earth in peas. Oh my God. Anyone who's ever been with a 2-year-old knows this conversation. It went on for 45 minutes in a jewel. Yeah, oh God. Bell Hooks is right. Children are critical thinkers, asking why, listening, responding. Jay was learning not just answers, and not necessarily to be pugnacious, but she wasn't learning simple knowledge. She was learning how to gather what was and how to use that information, how to interrogate the answers. She already knew how to form new and slightly annoying new questions. It was only later when I started reflecting on education that I would understand how profound that was. How much of the dialogue was a vehicle for her to learn, not answers, but how to think and be and get what she wanted in that ever-changing world that we live within that is, my friends, always in need of transformation. The simple conversation seems really kind of radical right now in our post-truth, very siloed world, right? Anybody find themselves in echo chambers? It feels rare for two human beings, and even if one is 60 and the other 2, for two humans of different opinions to talk and listen. It's sad. We are at a time that I wish I could shelter myself and the children I know from the realities of an ugly, bullish, dangerous conversations that are part of our communities and our political landscape. But I cannot protect children from the world. None of us can. So I've been wondering of late, as your interim RE person, and as a human being, what I could do to make a difference. So I found solace in rereading the works of Bell Hooks. Highly, highly recommend this prolific author. Such a beautiful heart. She writes from deep in her bones a profound knowledge that critical thinking and discursive conversation, not just talking with people who are going to agree with you, are the backbones of education and a society that is capable of moving. Bell Hooks writes, and I quote, "Education connects the will to know with the will to become. Learning is a place where paradise can be created." Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. Bell Hooks was born in 1952, Gloria Jean Watkins. She is a powerful Black feminist author and educator. She was raised in the Southern segregated school system. Her longtime teachers knew her and her parents and her siblings and everybody she hung around. And those teachers noted who among the students that were there were actually paying attention and gravitating toward things like these books here, right? Those teachers encouraged the natural critical thinking in them to ensure that they would fulfill what they called the intellectual destiny and uplift their race. There in those classrooms, bell hooks learned the value of asking clear, organizing, and disruptive questions. Bell hooks was able to thrive in that freedom. And oddly enough, as those schools were desegregated, she learned a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Frustratingly, the new schools that she went to taught her only rote information. They didn't teach her to ask questions. They didn't teach her how to look at the answers and find something new. So she took both of those learnings into the world to create her own academy. An academy filled with classrooms that taught how to think critically about what would be needed to transform her world. The classroom, her academy, wasn't just found in buildings like the one across the street. As you might imagine, the academy was found in our homes, in cars, on buses like this morning's story, around any table, any space created where real transformative conversations can happen, especially from somebody who thinks differently than you do. For me, this notion that we can build spaces where we are encouraged to question what is and have the courage to change ourselves, because my friends, when we get into a conversation, it's not about changing the other person, it's about listening enough so that we can understand what it is within us that might need to be changed. Oh, darn it. Those conversations challenge the norm and are a powerful antidote to the rhetoric of anger and fear that I hear daily. This is the gift that I hope back in that far away north part of the building, our children are learning. For bell hooks, education starts with asking questions, not from that pugnacious distancing stance of, oh, I know everything, thank you very much, but from one that leans in and asks, why? Why do peas have to be healthy? Ask why in a way that allows us to listen and to hear and answer. It's important to notice and support this freedom which accepts change, not just out there, but within ourselves. It is a way of equipping ourselves to thrive in impossible times. Like bell hooks' early classrooms where her teachers actively noticed and encouraged and supported students who wanted to learn. Those teachers knew critical thinking would cost something. The easy security of following societal values, what is and what has always been or feels like it has always been. Questioning can be dangerous in a world that demands conformity, but it's also a delicious freedom. Education that values critical questioning and questions pull a person out of that flow of group or hive mind. They offer a language to imagine new things, new concepts, new perspectives. It's freedom from the tyranny of what is into the dance of what might yet be. This dance reminds us that no matter where a person might be, they are always in a classroom. We are in a classroom. I am in a classroom. You are as well. We all know that heady feeling of being right, that smug satisfaction that feels really good and a bit superior about all that we understand. You know, I was right about peas. Peas are healthy, right? Of course they are. If I only ate peas, though, maybe that wouldn't be so good. Huh. Every human being knows and has that desire to be right, to know where they stand, to be in their life enough that they can feel and understand the comfort of that. Because of this very human leaning, we need critical thinking to be able to push past those easy responses and open up to what might be real new possibilities. This can be uncomfortable, right? Anybody ever been uncomfortable realizing you knew something and then was like, oh, I thought that was real. Apparently it's not. Ugh. But it is within discomfort that we find the possibilities we might never have found ourselves. In this way, the ability to be uncomfortable allows us to change and grow, allows us for the blessing of transformation. It is never easy to change. It takes a willingness to challenge ourselves. It's funny because in this faith tradition, we're often branded because of critical thinking, right? Anybody ever heard the word heretic? Right? Many of us have transgressed and broken away from families, from friends, communities to believe in no God or in a God that can't be drawn on the ceiling of a church no matter how beautiful. Or to affirm that everyone should have the right to know their own God if God is life-affirming and loving. We have been predisposed to believe in questions rather than answers. So as I engage bell hooks, I've wondered if this makes us a fertile place for this much-needed critical thinking, conversation, transformation. Oh, gosh, really? In a world filled with echo chambers, places where we only hear what we believe and aren't challenged, it is ours to build spaces, actively build, actively support, actively call out, actively be in the process of always looking for that next one that might make us uncomfortable. Spaces where critical thinking and discursive thought are taught and used for us to equip learning. We need this because our world is always changing. What worked for us is not what is going to work for those youngsters who just left. Sad as that might be, we love the answers that we came up with. But just like our parents, we will come up with answers, and they will come up with answers that don't feel comfortable to us. Here's an example. For a period of time, our society, our country, demanded a conformity of its inhabitants. Immigrants, welcome, absolutely, but they had to give up their rituals and ways of being that made them unique back someplace else. Whiteness itself was created as a homogenization that took away cultural idiosyncrasies and added everyone into the bland melting pot. Right? Everyone heard that term? Mm-hmm. This acculturation encouraged people who wanted the privileges that came along with that whiteness to keep critiques of that system to themselves. But along in the late 1950s and 60s, folks who had the luxury of time and education began to find fault with a society that tried to fit everyone into the same mold. And a period of radical upheaval followed, which began the cracks in the system that we see today, right? Bell Hooks was part of that whole movement, and people like her. That whole movement from saying, we can be more than just be like someone else. I can live in a place where who I am is valued. Further along with the invention of the internet, we took to beginning this trend of rejecting the party line, but we took that deeper and deeper and deeper. until some successful business people jumped into the opportunity and created whole news organizations based on only believing what you believed deeper and deeper and deeper. So we went from, we're the melting pot, to, I am only unique. Oh my gosh. So now we're stuck in this middle of this place where there are no common answer. We don't have Walter Cronkite telling us a news fact that everybody has heard throughout the day, right? And our kids are in the middle of that koan, in the middle of that space between which of these answers do we come out of? They are taught good values at school. But some grow up in homes where being uncomfortable and questioning things is a cardinal sin. We must offer our children opportunities to strengthen those muscles that come with questions, to strengthen those muscles that come with being uncomfortable about finding out that the answers that we have might not get me to the next thing that I know is right. Children needs the opportunities to learn how to ask hard questions. And we must model in our homes, in our schools, here at church, the possibilities of re-examining positions, looking past what everyone agrees to and imagining what might be missed. Encouraged by Bell Hook's vision of freedom, I've begun to ask people that I know why, not why about peas, but why. Why in our country right now there's such a strong gender divide? What's going on there? Why it is that I can not talk without people getting super uncomfortable about the challenges that our climate is facing that we might not escape. I'm talking to people about what it means to have the ability to create a term paper via an electronic device. All of this is great, but these questions have to start in our communities. We need to make space for all perspectives, even the ones that have deemed unwelcome. Because if we can offer conversation, relationship, and the possibilities that come out of those, we can offer a space where the world can be what is needed, not just what was needed back here. Education and knowledge are freedom. Freedom as a way of being able to say, I can see what is possible, not just living with what is. Freedom is an earned gift that allows us to live into the change that is prevalent in our world today with the knowledge that will allow us to survive. As Bell Hooks would say, the classroom remains the most radical space of possibility in the academy. Teaching can enable transgressions, a movement against and beyond boundaries. It is that movement which makes education the practice of freedom. In being willing to be people who transgress, we teach not only ourselves, but by our actions, we also teach our children. I remember my small friend Jay, why? And all those questions, she was learning facts and thinking even how to engage with me as an adult, how to be in relationship. And this song that you'll hear the choir sing came forward from Stephen Sondheim. Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Here we are at the edge of tomorrow. Some looking with trepidation, Some still coming into the full meaning of this moment, some wistful. Will we keep moving forward? Will we move so that the edge of tomorrow comes closer? Will we find ourselves moving towards that greater freedom? Will we celebrate those on the margins who might have so much experience with discomfort that they are running towards what might still be possible? Let us, each of us, then be students of this world, and let our children create the world that they need. Not our world, but something new that speaks of what is yet becoming. Let us celebrate their readiness to learn, to transgress, to transform our world through critical thinking into a place of truer freedom for them. Let us live in the academy of now for our children and for the future they will need to live within. Amen, and blessed be.
How do you say to a child in the night, nothing's all black, but then nothing's all white? How do you say it will all be all right when you know that it might not be true? What do you do? What do you feed to your child when you're dead? Only whatever you put in his head. Things that your father and mother had said, which was left to them too. Careful what you say. Careful the things you say. Children will listen. Careful the things you do. Children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make. Wishes are children. Careful the path they take. Wishes come true. Not Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last. That's what you can see. And turn is careful the tale you tell. That is the spell. Children will listen.
The following words were written by the Reverend Peggy Clark. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Please rise in spirit or body and sing our closing hymn, number 339, Knowledge They Say.
This final benediction comes from Thomas Merton. Humans have a responsibility to their own time, not as if they could be seen to stand outside it and denote various spiritual and material benefits from it from a position of compassionate distance. Humans have a responsibility to find themselves where they are, in their own proper time and place in history to which they belong, and to which they must inevitably contribute either their response or their envision, either truth and act or mere slogan and gesture. Go out, my friends, and change your world.
Listen.